What's up, y'all? We're back for episode number 4 of season 2. In good news, Luke and I got NFL Sunday ticket this week.
That's right.
For the first time. We've never had NFL Sunday ticket before, so
That is right.
I'm excited
That's
to try
huge.
it out.
That's huge.
Yeah,
Very exciting.
we can't wait. I guess it's linked with Red Zone, so we can't wait to hear 7 hours of commercial-free football. I can't speak.
It starts now.
Starts now, yes.
Let's go.
But as always, we are your hosts, Adam
Dante.
And Luke.
Yes. We are back for episode number 4. Just going to do what we always do today. Go through past week, predict the new week, call it a day.
Yes, sir.
Let's not waste any time. Let's get right into this. So I thought about last week. I kind of gave the fantasy leaders from the previous week before we went over the games. And I kind of felt like it might be better if we go over the games first. That way people kind of know what happened. So shall we start with our favorite teams? Do we want to do that?
Sure.
That's fine.
All right.
Luke, your team played first, so go for
Yeah,
it.
why
That's
don't you
right.
kick us off?
The Patriots played about how I expected them to. We did our favorite thing. We got behind and came back just not close enough. It's getting a little frustrating. But I knew what to expect, and I don't think it was any worse than it had to be. It was a frustrating end to the game. If only Cole Strange could have took an extra half yard, who knows what would have happened. But Mac Jones played all right. Defense played all right. We held Tyreek Hill to I don't even know, was it like 60 yards maybe?
I could look really quickly.
I'm gonna embarrass myself if it's nothing like that. But Christian Gonzalez, first career interception on Tyreek Hill. That was great.
Tyreek Hill had 5 receptions for 40 yards and a touchdown.
Okay. So remove that touchdown, and that's a pretty good day by the defense. So it was what I expected it to be for the Patriots. It would have been nice if we could have pulled out a victory at the end, but it is what it is. 0-2 really stinks. But I'm just going to hope and pray and assume that we're going to beat the Jets. If we don't, then we got some problems. But I could have predicted us to go. I did predict us to go 0-2 to start the year. So let's just beat the Jets, and then we'll really start to know what this team is going to be like. If we don't beat the Jets, then I will be worried. But I'm not going to overreact until then.
Totally fair. Totally fair. All right, moving on. You want to go or me, Dante?
I'll go.
Go ahead.
Well, first of all, it was so ugly. What an ugly game it was. Started off tremendously. I'm going to tell my kids about the time Alex Highsmith picked off Deshaun Watson in the first play against the Browns in primetime. That was probably the happiest moment of my life. However, outside of the defense, our offense, man, it goes without saying. You guys know how bad it is. You guys saw the highlights. -7 yards in the fourth quarter, and we won the game. Didn't snap the ball as an offense inside the 30-yard line all game and won the game. Absurd. Horrible. I don't know. It's just everybody knows my stance on Matt Canada. And it's the same as everybody else. I think he is the worst OC in the game, and I think he needs to go. However, we can't keep having – we did win the game. However, we can't keep having our defense carry us like it does. But, yeah.
I saw something this week, apparently, which we'll get to more. The Bears, I forget what play they called, but they called 3 plays in a row at one point, and they were at like the 10-yard line. And someone was like, this play calling makes Matt Canada look really good. I'm like, I don't know if anything can make Canada look really good.
Yeah.
Well, the only thing that ever made Matt Canada look good was Matt Patricia. But you don't really have that. we don't really have that comparison anymore.
What do you mean?
Thank goodness Matt Patricia is somewhere else doing something else, anything else.
He's on the Eagles, isn't he?
Yeah, he's on the Eagles doing something.
Yeah.
Who really knows?
But anyway, I guess if you're done talking about the Steelers, I can go to my
Yeah, I mean, there's really not much to say, you know. I mean, dude, first of all, I got to give a shout out to not only Alex Highsmith, but TJ Watt. And
Absolutely.
like those guys are just playing out of their mind. And also our fucking corners suck. Sorry for swearing. This is the first
Oh,
time
you're good.
I really
It's all right. It's all right.
But yeah, our corners just are not good. Levi Wallace is playing the worst football he's ever played in his life.
Yeah.
Pat Pete talked so much garbage before the game, but can't back it up ever. I think it's about time to start Joey Porter Jr. because anytime that guy was in the game, he was balling.
I would agree with you.
And then another rookie that we should start, Broderick Jones. Why do you trade up to draft a guy? First of all, Luke, thank you to you and the Patriots for screwing the Jets into letting us get one of the best offensive linemen in the draft. I'll just say that. But
We've talked about that. I will thank you guys every single day, every single time I see Christian Gonzalez play, because not only did we screw the Jets together, but
we both got elite players.
I couldn't be happier with him. That being said, I know what you're about to say, and I really do hope you guys play him more.
Over Dan Moore. Statistically, right now, Dan Moore is the worst offensive tackle in football. And if you're Mike Tomlin, and I know Mike Tomlin catches a lot of slack, and I'm a Mike Tomlin believer. I love the guy. I think he's a great leader for our team. Does he really settle for mediocrity? I think so. However, if you go up and draft a guy, what was it, 14, right? I think that was the Patriots' original pick.
Yeah, 14.
Somewhere in that range. If you go up and trade for a guy, and you don't play him, like that's the one position that should really start week one is an offensive lineman.
I
That's my rant on the Steelers as of right now.
Well, for the Panthers, it was kind of more of the same this week. Bryce looked better. Defense, I think, looked fine in the first half. Second half, everything kind of unraveled. The game literally started. It was 6-6 on field goals. In fact, it might have been 9-9 on field goals. No, it was 6-6, and I think the Saints made it 13-6. We made it 13-9. They made it like 29, and we made it like 2017, something like that. But we didn't score a touchdown until like literally, if it were a blowout, it's considered garbage time is when we scored a touchdown, which it kept us in it to the point where, we'll see if we can get the Christmas miracle onside kick recovery, which didn't happen. But, the one thing I was saying to you guys this week with this team is we had to win this game because now we have the Seahawks, the Vikings, Lions, and Dolphins coming up before our bye. And at this moment, I don't mean to be negative about the team. I don't think we win any of those games, not one. So winning this game this week was crucial, and we didn't do it. And now apparently Bryce Young, Brian Burns, Miles Sanders, Justin Houston, and Chandler Wooten are all battling practice injuries. So I hope they don't miss practice for a second day in a row. But man, I guess now people are talking about who would you rather see start this week, Andy Dalton or Jake Luton? Like, I don't want to talk about that. Let's just hope Bryce Young's okay. Like, I don't want to see that man get injured. And the worst part is I could say whatever, lose and get a better draft pick again. We don't have that opportunity this year.
True.
We don't have our first round pick. I still think it was worth it to trade it, but we don't have it. The Bears have it. And they're probably going to get Marvin Harrison Jr. maybe with it. That would be insane.
If you think the Bears are going to finish that bad, because I don't think there's any way Marvin Harrison makes it out of the top 5. Maybe
I mean, with our pick. I mean, we finished that bad, and they take him with our pick.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
I also think I'm starting to think the Bears may finish that bad.
They could.
I'm Adam, I know you're a big Justin Fields guy, but I never bought into the hype.
I know.
I thought he was so overrated, and I still think he is. And it's really proven my point. However, I can't talk the way Kenny Pickett's been playing the past 2 games. However,
Well, I mean, one person's performance doesn't make the other guys look any better or any worse. So I think you can talk because Justin Fields, and I'll defend him as much as the next guy, but there was a video of he just took 8 seconds to read the defense. He completely missed some guy on a streak that would have been an easy touchdown. And I think he took a sack.
Yeah.
It's just, it's not what a starting quarterback does.
Especially in what, year 3?
Yeah.
Year 3. I mean,
Year 3, never been injured.
Speaking of the Bears, to make things worse,
It's
I just
so
saw
odd.
their defensive coordinator has resigned.
wow. After
Yeah,
2 games.
I guess there was some big thing that the FBI raided his home for some very serious allegations, and now he's resigning completely and may never coach again. That's what I've heard. So
Okay.
yeah, might be a long year for the Bears again.
Which, man, I never had anything against the Bears.
I don't either.
I was really rooting for them whenever they got carried by their defense. Excuse me. And when 12-4 that one year, and then the double doink happened. I was really rooting.
Yeah.
I liked Trubisky at that time. I liked that team, but that defense.
I did
was
too.
terrible.
Yeah, I did too.
Since that point, I've been really rooting for them. But man, it feels like they've been shooting themselves in the foot. Especially, I hate to talk about the Steelers again because that's all I ever talk about.
You're good.
But trading Claypool for basically a first-round pick, like what kind of move is that? And to not even play him much. And to get this production out of him, I know they're not in control of that, but like that just sucks. Like
I remember Bears fans were really excited about that trade last year.
which is fine because Claypool did show flashes, but for the 32nd overall pick, I don't know.
Yeah, and any year that's a first round pick, except for last year.
That's what I'm saying, dude. You know what I mean?
Anyway, I guess we can run through the scores of the other games quickly. Eagles beat the Vikings on Thursday Night Football. A little closer than we all expected, I think, but they still got the win. We were wrong about the Bengals. The Ravens took them down by 3 points.
I was very wrong. I said the Bengals were going to obliterate the Ravens. So
Yeah, I kind of agreed with you. So it's okay.
Any Ravens fans watching this, I don't know if there are many, but I apologize. That's on me. I shouldn't have said that.
That offense is looking better. I should say that.
The Ravens?
Offense. With
Which is weird.
Flowers.
Yeah, Zay Flowers is a monster. But yeah, it still sucks because their second best running back outside of Lamar Jackson is out for the year. But
Outside of Lamar. Is that what you said?
Yeah, that's what I said.
That's funny. What else we got? We had 2 overtime games this week. Seahawks beat the Lions by 6 in Detroit, and the Titans beat the Chargers at home by 3.
Unexpected.
Yep. In what would have been, it was going to be the youngest QB battle ever until Anthony Richardson got hurt. Just ended up being Minshew and Stroud, but the Colts got the job done, winning by 11. As we said, the Bears are 0-2. Buccaneers are 2-0 with Baker.
Good. I'm glad.
I'm not going to lie. They're in my division, but I love to see Baker succeeding.
It is fun.
Yeah. I don't have a problem with it. I really don't.
It is fun. It's a team that everybody counted out. And that's kind of been the story of Baker Mayfield's career. I think coming into the NFL, a lot of people were like, all right, well, that was fun in college, but he's probably not a NFL talent for real. On the Browns, like, all right, well, this would be a fun story, but the Browns are so bad that there's no chance he turns them around, wins them a playoff game. He gets thrown out for Deshaun Watson. So he's always been the underdog. So it is fun seeing him. Maybe he won't keep it up. I'm sure the Buccaneers are going to run into some struggles eventually. But it is fun watching him ball out through week 1 and week 2.
Yeah.
He maybe has the best weapons of his career so far.
Yeah, no, for sure. The reason I'm rooting for Baker so much is because another reason why I hate the Browns so much is because he gave that team the most success they've ever had by a long shot, you know. Well, not counting before they came back into the league in like the 90s, but recently that's the most successful season they've ever had, was beating the Steelers in the playoffs. And then you just dump him off for a guy that hasn't played football in 2 years and has 26 allegations around him, and just like,
Yeah, no kidding.
and you're just like, see ya later, to the guy who almost saved your franchise, who put them in the right direction again. And
They're-
then
Go ahead. Sorry.
and that's the real reason I want Baker to succeed, is to be like, I told you so. I told you I was that guy to the Browns. And even though it didn't work out in Carolina, and even though it didn't really work out in LA, even though he did play really well for a couple games, I still think Baker has the capability to be a mid-level starter in this league.
Yeah. I was gonna say there's only been like 2 instances in his career that I've like rooted against Baker, and that was, of course, the Steelers playoff game, and when he stuck the flag in the middle of Ohio State's field. But even I've gotten over that. Like, that was so long ago, and
I don't think that was necessarily a shot at Ohio State. That was just like a big hype win. But then again, I'm fine with it.
I mean, anybody would do that when they win. Like, Michigan stuck the flag on our field last year when they beat us. Like, it just happens. But
yeah.
Like, I'm looking at the numbers now. The Browns go 0-16, draft Baker Mayfield. He goes exactly 500, 32-32-1, and a playoff win.
Yeah.
0-16 to a playoff win within 3 years, and you're gonna kick him to the curb for Deshaun Watson.
yeah,
And look at the quarterbacks before him. Deshaun Kaiser, horrible. Notre Dame quarterback, wasn't even that great in college. Brought him in, stunk up the joint. Brandon Whedon was never that guy. Who else? They
Even
had
Johnny Manziel.
Johnny Manziel, horrible pick. Shout out to Skip Bayless for saying the entire league was going to regret drafting on him, and that he was going to be bigger in Cleveland than LeBron was.
Yeah, that was sick.
But yeah, rooting for Baker heavy.
Mhm.
Anyways, yeah, so that's all to say that even though Adam's a Panthers fan, the Buccaneers are fun to watch right now.
Yeah, they definitely are. Let's see what else. Chiefs beat the Jags. I was right about that one.
He was right, yeah.
I know it was yeah.
Go for it, Adam. What were you
I was
going
gonna say it was a boring pick, but I figured Kelsey's coming back, Chris Jones is coming back. They're gonna be fine. Like, I might as well take him to win.
Yeah, it was a surprisingly low-scoring game.
It was.
Seriously, yeah.
17-9, was it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
17
really
to
weird.
9.
But
When are we gonna start talking about how Trevor Lawrence hasn't been elite to start the year? He's been fine. What
yeah,
did he do their first game of the year? He was nothing special last week.
Got the win. I mean,
who they beat? Indy?
yeah. You don't
And-
really need to do much to beat Indy, though. That's the thing.
Well,
Didn't
it
play
came
better.
down to a fourth quarter interception from Anthony Richardson, and I think they made it 2 scores at the end. That was when I remember saying that the score made it look farther apart than it actually was. But anyways, so the Jaguars, interesting. I'm sure they'll be fine just because that division is so bad.
Yeah.
Chiefs win. Adam called that.
Yep. Falcons beat the Packers by 1. That was a close game.
It was
I didn't expect
surprising.
that at all.
Yeah, me neither. Well, I guess Aaron Jones was hurt. Christian Watson was hurt again. David Bakhtiari was out as well. So, bunch of key losses on Green Bay's side.
I guess the Falcons the rushing attack has just been so good so far.
Mm-hmm.
They
Yeah.
are good at that, I will admit. Bills are back. They beat the Raiders pretty convincingly.
Called that.
Yeah.
It's the Raiders.
49ers won, but again, closer than we expected against the Rams.
Mhm.
Although I remember, Dante, you were saying it might be a little closer than we think. So
Which game was that? Sorry.
49ers and Rams.
I did think that was going to be pretty close. I mean, I'm very pleasantly surprised by the Rams offense. I think they're playing well. Remind me of that new wide receiver they have that's just
Puka Nakua.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. I tried to pick him up in fantasy, but someone already had him. He's just a point machine. Like,
6th rounder from BYU, I believe.
dude, he was projected 17 points last week, and I think he got more than that.
Yeah,
Crazy.
He did. I'll get into that in a little bit.
Is Cooper Kupp a system wide receiver?
What else we got? Giants. What a second half. It was 20-0 Arizona. All for the Giants to score 31 second half points and win 31-28.
I was really rooting for Arizona. I wanted Dobbs.
It would have been funny. It would have been pretty funny.
Hey, but what way to ball by Daniel Jones. He was lights
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
They'll be playing tomorrow night or tonight by the time everybody sees this. I've already ruled out Saquon and Andrew Thomas.
Hey. So who's their backup running back?
Matt Breida, I think,
Oh,
was-
okay.
getting some fantasy attention I saw this week. And then the only other two games from last week, Cowboys blew out the Jets like we predicted. They're looking like the best team in football right now.
Cowboys through 2 weeks have beat their opponents 70-10. Both New York teams.
Crazy.
That is impressive scoring wise, but Aaron Rodgers lists Jets and
Yeah.
the Giants.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's not. Wait, no, not the Giants. Who they beat?
Yeah, the Giants.
Yeah, Giants.
Oh, yeah,
40-0.
that's right. Okay, my bad. But it's like First of all, I really wish I was a Cowboys fan right now, so I could be 2-0. However, I'm not going to jump the gun yet and say they're the best team, but they're really looking good.
That's fair. They're looking good.
The city of New York had a really tough week. It was 9/11, then they had to deal with Dak Prescott twice.
And then let's see. Jason Dominguez had Tommy John
Honestly.
surgery for the Yankees, and the Mets are the Mets.
Then that Yankees pitcher got hit in the head at the Pirate game.
Yeah,
That
We were
is
there.
right, yeah.
we were there.
Oh man,
I
Yeah.
felt so bad for Misevich. Yeah, it was terrible.
that's like the second time that's happened. It
Yeah.
happened to a pitcher for the Marlins, Jordy Mercer, a liner up the
Yeah,
middle.
Dan Jennings, I think his name was. I
Yeah.
remember.
That was scary.
And final week 2 game. This was a crazy game. Commanders get the 2-point win after the Broncos convert a Hail Mary, but can't get the 2-pointer.
Did you see how this game ended, Dante?
Dude, I was watching it. I was at Marissa's house, my girlfriend, and she was doing her work, like her schoolwork on her computer. Wasn't looking up at the TV, dude. I was sitting back in her recliner just watching this. I was like, oh, it's over. Might as well. It was a nice, last second drive by Russ to get him to the 50. Heaved it downfield. Got tipped up, dude. I got up, went.
That was, yeah.
And Marissa got up. She was like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "You weren't even watching the game." But yeah,
Adam was in the other room, and I must have screamed something.
Yeah, I heard, and I was like, no way. I was literally folding laundry.
I couldn't believe it. And then they had to get the 2-point conversion, which you would have thought would be easier, but apparently not.
I thought it was PI. That's just me. I think.
I thought it was. Let me try to. I think I thought it was too.
Yeah, I think.
I'm confused. I don't want to confuse the Steelers ending with the Broncos ending, because the Steelers won. I think it was the Steelers game where I think even if it was PI, that ball wasn't.
It was uncatchable.
So that's fine. I won't go back and forth with you on that. But I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, I do agree that the end of the Broncos game was pass interference.
Yeah.
Oh well.
It was.
Well, anyway, Russ and Sean Payton, 0-2. Sam Howell, 2-0.
That's
Sam
also
Howell.
Good for the
Sam
command.
Howell.
Sam Howell. Joe Burrow.
All right.
That's that Eric Bieniemy offense.
Yeah, looking good. All right, real quick, I will jump into the fantasy leaders from this past week. Oh, wait, let's see when it is. All right. As you know, I always do top 15 and an honorable mention. If there are a tie, I throw that in. There are 2 ties, so it looks like we have 17 or 18 names this week. So, a tie at the honorable mention spot with 25.22 points. 2 quarterbacks, Josh Dobbs and Jalen Hurts.
Wow.
Josh Dobbs.
25.3, CeeDee Lamb. At number 14 with 25.6, TJ Hawkinson. At number 13 with 25.7, Raheem Mostert. I tried to trade for him in fantasy last night. The guy who had him wasn't having it, but that's also because he has Nick Chubb, who's now out for the year. So,
Oh, first of all,
Oh yeah, we forgot to get into that.
So, I mean, prayers up to probably my favorite running back in the league. Though he's a Cleveland Brown, man. I love Nick Chubb
Seriously.
so much. In my opinion,
Yeah.
he is the best runner in the NFL.
I
Just
agree.
the ball up the middle, he is incredible. I do think CMC is the best overall back in the league right now because that guy could just catch. And that's not about him right now, man. Just prayers up to Nick Chubb. That's so devastating.
Seriously. I saw the replay of it on Twitter. They weren't showing it on TV for good reason. I wouldn't want them to show it, but man, that is just brutal.
And just thinking of it right now, it's so gross.
Right.
First of all, we can all establish, I think we all agree, that was not a dirty hit at all.
I don't think it was.
I don't think it was. It could be argued by people who are just upset that it happened. An argument could be made, but it definitely didn't have dirty intentions.
I don't think so. I don't think Minka's that kind of player. If you look back at his resume, he's never done anything quite like that.
He's never done anything like
intentionally, but yeah.
Intentionally is the big thing here. I think it's pretty obvious that it wasn't intentionally bad.
Whenever you have Nick Chubb, like I said, best runner in the league, give that guy the ball, it'll get you 6 or 7 yards every time.
Yeah.
It's hard to bring that guy down. And
sometimes you have to throw your body at him.
That's what I'm saying. And like, it's obviously devastating about what happened. But like, I've seen Browns fans be like, petition to get Minka Fitzpatrick, Damar Hamlin.
I saw that on your story.
Like, dude, you gotta be the most disgusting human being of all time to say something like that. I'm sorry.
I saw that too.
Like, that's just immature. I mean, fans were like, "Oh, prayers up!" Like, applauded the guy as he went off the field because we know how good he is. Damar Hamlin, Minka Fitzpatrick, like, dude, you're a scumbag.
Well, just to move past all the sour subjects of the week, I'll just make quick mention of another very irresponsible thing that was said this week. Was Tyreek Hill after the game saying that Patriots fans were the worst in the NFL and that he would stand by that. And then just hours later, a police report coming out that a Dolphins fan murdered a Patriots fan in the stands.
Literally murdered him.
By repeatedly punching him to death. Literally murdered him. He passed at the hospital. Was
that a Patriot fan being up a Dolphin fan or vice versa?
No, it was a Dolphins fan punched a Patriots fan to death.
Whatever.
Before we go on, that's not indicative of the Dolphins fan base of a whole. That's not what I think. And I'm not going to sit here and act like all Patriots fans are great people. Boston is notoriously, I'll just say they notoriously have unapologetically passionate fans. That get in their own way a lot. But I've grown to dislike Tyreek Hill more and more every single week. He acts like some great person when that's not what he is at all. And that was just really irresponsible thing to say and a really unfortunate thing to happen. So the NFL has just been so weird these two weeks already, but at least for as many bad stories as there are as many fun stories to talk about, fun stories like the Commanders and the Buccaneers being 2-0, like Travis Kelce dating Taylor Swift and funny stuff like that. That's pretty interesting. I saw today Jason Kelce confirmed that.
Wow. That's crazy.
So anyways, we can move on. I just want to make quick mention of what happened.
I was reading the fantasy leaders. I don't even know where I'm at now. What did I just say? Raheem Mostert?
You said Raheem Mostert.
Oh, because I was talking about Chubb. Okay. So after Raheem Mostert, I'll just read names. 25.9 for Tyler Lockett, 25.92 for Russell Wilson, 27.1 for DeAndre Swift, 27.2 for Saquon, who's now hurt, 27.6 for Nico Collins,
interesting
Texans receiver, 28 for the new Rams RB1, Kyren Williams. I guess I see they're trying to trade
Cam
Akers. That's interesting.
I saw the Browns were looking at him, but they just got Kareem Hunt today.
They got Kareem Hunt, so I doubt it.
Cam Akers has just never been a fit there.
Yeah.
Let's
see. Besides Kyren Williams, we had Kirk Cousins 28.56, then tied for fifth with 28.9. T. Higgins and Brian Robinson Jr. of the Commanders.
He has been balling out.
He has been.
Yeah.
29.1 for Mike Evans. Then his second appearance of the year, 30.1 for Puka Nakua.
Dude, that's crazy. He's just
I love that guy.
Unbelievable.
And then we had 30.74 for Daniel Jones and 31.1 for this week's leader, Keenan Allen.
wow. I didn't expect and a loss too. Wow.
Yep. So there are still plenty of teams so far I'm keeping track this year without an appearance. And those teams are the Ravens, Panthers, Bears, Browns, Lions, Chiefs, Saints, Jets, Steelers, and Titans. That's all.
I know Pickens was close. He had about 22 or 23. I think he just missed.
I think the Steelers defense had 23 as a whole.
Yeah, yeah.
That was crazy.
That's kind of surprising that nobody from the Lions has made an appearance yet. Usually they're a very high scoring offense, both on the field and in fantasy.
Yeah. All right. Did you want to do your stardom sit-em from this past week?
Yeah, I can do my stardom sit 'em real quick, and then we can get into predicting the games. So I'll go over what I said last week. I wasn't perfect last week. I got some things right. I told you to start Lamar Jackson after his 6-point week 1, I think it was. He had 22.88 points, so that was a good decision. I also told you to sit Anthony Richardson. He ended up with 17.78 points, so that was a bad decision, but he also did get hurt at the end. So I still wouldn't trust him going forward. I don't know if he's playing this week. Running backs, I told you would be fine to start trusting Josh Jacobs. While he did okay, he had 9.9 points. It's still a little puzzling to me how he's not playing much better. So I guess that's just something to keep an eye on. I told you not to overreact and to sit Samaje Perine. He had 5.4 points, so that was correct. I told you, don't worry, T. Higgins will be fine, and he ended up having 28.9 points, so I was right about that. But I was wrong. I told you to sit Christian Kirk. He ended up with 21.96 points, so I was wrong about that. And I said, continue to trust Hunter Henry. He had 17.2 points. And honestly, this next one I thought was going to be free. I told you to sit Tyler Conklin because I haven't heard his name in a very long time, but he ended up with 10 points. And for a tight end, that's pretty good. So I don't know where to go from there. But for week 3, here's what I got. I would start Joe Burrow. Listen, he has to be fine eventually. This has got to be the week. If this isn't the week, then there were some bigger problems at hand. But I'm assuming he'll be fine eventually, and I would bet that it's going to be this week. And for sit, I would go against what you just heard from Adam, and I would sit Daniel Jones this week. I know he just played fine. But it relied on a huge second half, and he's going up against the 49ers defense this week. Running back, I feel like a big game is coming for Jahmyr Gibbs. It's bound to happen sooner or later. And I would sit Jerome Ford, who, if you never heard that name, that's the backup, now RB1 for the Browns. But I still wouldn't jump on that too early. Maybe he'd be okay at your flex, but it's still a little bit risky.
And you got to think. Sorry to interrupt, Luke. You got to think. They just signed Kareem Hunt, so I
just signed Kareem Hunt.
I assume he's going to be their one.
He probably will be, as long as they don't not use him for a week or something.
Yeah.
Wide receiver, I think a big week is coming for AJ Brown. He's due. It's gonna be soon. And I would not start Christian Watson in his first game back because the Packers offense honestly has looked fine without him. So I don't think they're going to force him back into the offense too early, even if he's playing. Tight end, it's as simple as Evan Ingram has been Mr. Consistent so far. I think 10 points and 11 points through 2 weeks. So I would start him. And for now, I would sit David Njoku just because he has not been nearly as good as I expected him to be in the Browns offense. And maybe that'll change. Maybe they'll be throwing the ball more now without Nick Chubb. But until that does change, I will continue to sit him.
Yeah.
I really did think David Njoku was gonna take a jump this year.
He's always been like top 10 tight end in the league. Towards 10.
I would say borderline top 10, yeah.
But then again, the tight end competition is very top heavy. You have your top
It
three
really is, yeah.
with Kelsey, Kittle, and Andrews. Then everybody else is just. I mean, even Hawkins is up there too.
Hawkinson, yeah, you could put the Fryermuth up there, I think.
Yeah, I think
It's
Fryer.
starting to look like you could put Hunter Henry back up there. But
But
yeah,
anyway, yeah, Njoku, he's always been decent. He's always had pretty good games
Yeah.
against Pittsburgh. That's pretty much all the tape I've seen on him. But yeah, he's always been a pretty good tight end for them. One of their better offensive weapons.
yeah. All right, so should we get into picking this
I
week's
think we
game?
should.
Let's do it.
Week number 3. We're already to week 3. That is crazy. All right. Starting out with Thursday night, as I mentioned, we have Giants and 49ers in San Francisco. Who do we got, boys? I think this one's rather easy to predict, but
I think so as well.
I'll let you guys go first.
I'm going 49ers. I think there's really no explanation needed. Best defense in the league at the moment, and especially in San Francisco. Give me the Niners.
Yeah, I think the Niners are going to roll to 3-0.
I have them as well, especially with Saquon and Andrew Thomas out. I think that makes this prediction even easier. So it could be the Niners, wasting no time there. Right into the 1:00 slate on Sunday. We've got the Falcons and the Lions in Detroit. Both teams, well, I guess not both teams coming off a win. The Lions did lose last week. So no, I guess not 2 1-1 teams either. What am I saying? A 2-0 versus a 1-1. I think the Lions are going to win this game. I think it's going to be close, but I think the Lions are going to win.
Dante, what do you got?
I'm going to take the Falcons.
That's an interesting pick. I like it.
I'm going to take the Falcons to win this one. I do think it's going to be close, but with David Montgomery out, they don't have that 1-2 punch at running back like they kind of had the last couple weeks. They haven't really utilized Gibbs too much, but the way the Falcons are running the ball and playing, they seem like the team to beat in the NFC South. So give me the Falcons.
Yeah, I'm glad someone picked the Falcons because they've earned that. Being 2-0, I think they've earned that. However, I'm going to stick with Detroit. Let me use a quote to describe them this week from something I just watched. I just watched this weekend the Jason Kelsey documentary on Amazon Prime. It was extremely well done. Better than any other documentary I've seen this year. But one thing he always says that stuck out to me was that hungry dogs run faster. And the Lions, I think, know that they're a better team than Atlanta, but they have a loss, and Atlanta is 2-0. I think the Lions are just going to want this one more. So that plus the fact that I believe that they're a better team, I'm going to pick the Lions.
Okay.
I interrupt this program with breaking news. Nathan Peterman has been cut by the Bears.
No.
Oh,
He's the best quarterback on the roster.
Literally.
I guess they're going to have Justin Fields be QB1 and QB2. I mean,
do they have any other quarterback on the roster?
Well, they had Panthers legend PJ Walker, but they cut him. I think he's on the Browns practice squad now.
They only have one quarterback right now.
Yeah, so I guess if Fields gets hurt, he's going right back out there.
They're going full Patriot mode. That's crazy.
Or right now, I mean, if he gets hurt, I guess they're playing with no quarterback. So
who knows? Maybe that would be better for him.
Interesting to see if they'd be better.
Yeah, honestly.
Anyway,
just a little quick while we're on the subject of PJ Walker, did you hear that apparently the XFL and the USFL are going to merge?
I did not hear that. What?
They are.
Cool.
When? Next season?
I don't know if it's going to happen that soon, but that's the word. Apparently, it's a done deal.
Oh, wow.
Dwayne The Rock
Johnson. Better for both.
I think it's probably better for both, yeah. Spring football survives. You get that much more of a competitive league.
Yeah, true. More teams.
Go DC Defenders, right, Luke?
Defenders.
Yeah, we have a random allegiance to the DC Defenders because why not?
Dude, which is so strange because whenever they formed, I was like, you know what? Cardell Jones, was he the quarterback?
That's exactly what it was.
Why not? Let's root for the guy.
Mhm.
And then it was Jordan Ta'amu last year,
Yeah.
who was a big college name, but now he's slumming it on some practice squad, I think. But anyways, those teams are always going to have a lot of turnover, but that's what makes it fun.
I mean, Pittsburgh Maulers made the USFL championship.
Yeah,
Got beat by
to
the
keep all the teams, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
All right. According to Josh Knapp, Tyson Bagent is the QB2 for the Bears. So
Ooh, Tyson
Who?
Badgett?
I couldn't tell you. I don't know who that is.
Uh,
So, all right, let's predict the next game. We have a battle of 0-2. So somebody here is getting their first win of the season. We got the Chargers and the Vikings in Minnesota.
The fact that one of
Yeah.
these teams is about to be 0-3 is
Yeah.
crazy.
I don't know who to pick. Do you guys have your pick? Because if so, I'll let you go first.
I do. I'm going to go with Minnesota. I think Minnesota's been in both games they've been in, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have. But you know, I'm just not a big believer in the Chargers right now. They have not looked amazing. Justin Herbert really doesn't look that great. And at home, I'm taking the Vikings. I think they bounce back.
You want me to go or you?
You can go.
I'm gonna go Minnesota as well. Like you said, the Chargers really haven't impressed me so far. As some fans say, they haven't moved me yet. I think Eckler still might be hurt. I don't know if he plays this week. I genuinely think if they're going to be this bad, fire Brandon Staley. In fact, I think they should have fired him last year. That's just my opinion. But I think the Vikings, as long as they can, keep their defenders on Keenan Allen and all that stuff, they should be able to get a win here. And if the 1-2, I guess, get their first win of the year. So, Luke, we going clean sweep or you going Chargers?
This is a really hard game to pick. I'm going to go Vikings.
All
But
right.
I'm not sure about it.
Could always change your pick.
Both teams are so similar to me. Offenses that can put up 30 points a game without a ton of mistakes. Defenses that on paper are really good but haven't been able to keep them in games. We'll see. It should be a fun game to watch. I'll rock with Minnesota just because I think Kirk Cousins is more likely to lead a game-winning drive than Justin Herbert is. And I think that Chargers defense,
No, like that's really close. And I don't blame you for thinking like that. I don't know if I think like that too. I might. I'm not sure. I'd have to think about that.
If you get a good play call, if you get Justin Jefferson open, you can go 40 yards in 2 plays in 30 seconds and kick a field goal.
That's true.
I also think that the Chargers defense has earned less respect than the Vikings defense. Even though I mentioned this one other episode, the Chargers defense is the most expensive defense in the NFL with the guys that they're paying. J.C. Jackson, Derwin James, Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack. I need to see more out of them, period. We'll see. It should be a good game.
All right. Sorry, I just saw something that caught me off guard. Okay. Saints and Packers is the next game in Green Bay. Another one that I'm like, this is kind of like the last one, or it's really close, and I don't really know who to pick. But I did think about this the other day, and I do actually know who I'm going to pick. I'm going to pick the Saints on the road. My tongue kind of got caught with my teeth there, so I'll say it again. I am picking the Saints on the road.
Okay.
I think it'll be really close, but they have looked to me like
good.
Dante, you were saying you think the Falcons are the best team in the division so far. The Saints to me have looked like that best team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In terms of stability, I think it's the Saints. In terms of confidence in picking the team and consistency, I would probably say the Saints. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, Carrs looks really good. Their rushing attack hasn't been bad. It hasn't been great, but it hasn't been bad.
The defense
has been very good.
Yeah.
They have some solid receivers. honestly, Dennis Allen has not been the worst coach this year. Like, he was pretty bad last year, but he hasn't been that bad this year. So, yeah, I'm gonna go with the Saints to go to 3-0.
Dante, what are you
Never
going?
thought I'd be saying that.
I think I'm gonna lean towards Green Bay here. Just because if this game was in New Orleans, I'd probably pick the Saints, but Lambeau's just such a hard place to play. And
That's a good point.
having Christian Watson back, I know you said
Yeah, I
so-
said to sit him, but that doesn't mean he won't be a factor.
yeah, and I think the rushing attack for the Packers is much better than the rushing attack for the Saints. And if they just control the game through the ground, I think the Packers are going to come out on top. Plus, Jordan Love's looked tremendous so far to start the year. So yeah, give me the Packers.
I'm going to go with my gut here. I'm going to go with the Saints.
There we go.
I could very well be wrong, but Derek Carr, much more experienced quarterback, obviously. They're more of a grit and grind team. I think if anybody is going to come into Lambeau and get a win like that, it has to be a mature, well-rounded team. I think that is what the Saints are. Like we said, the Saints and the Falcons are both pretty interesting teams this year in that division. I don't think the Falcons could come into. Wait, they just did. The Falcons.
No, Falcons hosted Green Bay.
Yeah,
Anyway, they just did Green Bay. Okay, I was about to say they couldn't beat Green Bay. But you get my point. The Saints are more of a mature team, and so I think they'll be able to handle a road game better.
Yeah. I just gotta say, even though they're my division rival, technically, I love Derek Carr. I saw some clip that apparently someone was saying he was shaking his head on the sideline because all these Panthers fans were complaining about Bryce Young and how we're not like converting on our drives and all this. And he was like shaking his head because I guess his brother was like a first round pick QB that started. And he's like, I know people who have been there before, and he knows how hard it is. And Derek Carr, not only that, he's just a great leader and great person.
Yeah,
I've always liked them.
Adam, you with Derek Carr is the same as me with Nick Chubb. Rival, but just a great competitor, great player, great person. That's what it is, and you got to respect.
I've thought that way about Mike Evans too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hate Mike Evans. Great player.
Do you feel that way about Chris Godwin?
Yeah. State legend. I got to.
PSU legend.
Sometimes you can't hate all your rivals. You got to give credit where credit's due.
But everybody else on the Browns.
Everybody else can, yeah. I feel that way about Tua. I joke about him. I rip on him as a quarterback, but it's out of love. He's a good guy. If you ever hear him speak, he's well spoken and he knows what he's talking about. He seems like a nice guy to be around, and so
he's been through a lot too.
Guy. What?
He's been through a lot medically too.
That's true. He had a rough year. He had a rough go of it last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Shall we keep it rolling, boys?
We shall.
This next game, I don't think we're going to spend too much time on. Texans and Jaguars.
Mm-hmm.
We need to talk about it. I mean, I think I
will say I'm impressed with CJ Stroud.
I am.
Let me just throw that out there.
Mm-hmm.
It's so nice when someone just plays like they should.
Mm-hmm.
CJ Stroud hasn't been any better or any worse than he needs to be. He's just been what he should be.
He's had like a 300-yard passing game or something like that. 200.
Actually, I think the stat is he's thrown for 300 yards in both games.
Oh yeah,
and so that gives him 2 300-yard games, which is more than Justin Fields.
Yeah,
I think I read that on Twitter.
That's awesome.
I see that.
That guy just keeps catching stray bullets, but it's all to say that CJ Stroud has been just as good as he should be.
Dude, last game against the Colts, he threw for, I'm looking right now, 30 for 47, 384 and 2 touchdowns.
It's very impressive.
As a rookie? Dude.
That being said, they didn't win that game and they won't win this game.
Right.
Which is okay. Jacksonville is just a different animal. And I'm starting to accept that I was wrong, that Houston may be better this year. I think they're building something, but it may not arrive until next year.
Yeah, give me the Jags.
To me, this year, it's kind of like how we are with Bryce Young. With the Texans,
He said different jobs.
oh, you're going with the Jags, aren't they?
Yeah, I'm going with the Jags also.
Okay. Sorry to interrupt you, but
No, no worries.
anyway, I was gonna say, like, kind of like with the Panthers, they may not have the best team, but it's all about seeing how well your rookie QB does.
Mhm.
Seeing what he can do in his first year. That being said, I am picking the Jaguars as well. That's kind of a no-brainer, but I hope Stroud has a good game. I hope he makes it interesting. I hope he keeps balling out. As long as one Ohio State quarterback's doing well, that's all I'm happy for. So
And I like Stroud much more than Fields right now.
that's totally fair. It's
Yeah.
totally fair. Yeah, Fields has been in the media too. I think complaining about his coaches, and Stroud hasn't done that.
I don't know, dude.
It's just a messy situation in Chicago.
If you haven't proved yourself to be that guy, don't complain about the coaching. Whenever it's really not that bad. I don't know. I don't watch Bears games like I
Yeah.
watch games,
like
but
I've kind of said to Luke, I love Justin Fields. Then again, if he's doing that kind of stuff, I don't know how much longer I can defend him. Like it got to a point where I couldn't really defend Cam Newton anymore. Like I had to admit he's done. Like I just can't defend it. Like I don't want to have to be doing that this early with Justin Fields. But
Well, the thing is, if you look at, I could talk about this for hours. The worst coaching job, maybe of all time, was last year for Mac Jones. And every single week in the press conference, he went out there and said, "It's on me. I should have played better." He voiced his frustrations during the game. I mean, the camera caught him swearing at the coaches now and then, but that happens on any team. It's so different than Justin Fields, who it's week 3, and I'm not sure he even wants to be out there. He doesn't look inspired. He doesn't look hopeful. It looks like it's like, oh, I gotta go play football again.
it looks like a job. It looks like a chore.
It looks like
you
a
know?
job. Which of course it is a job, but
should be a job you enjoy.
yeah.
You know? I mean,
For example, I don't complain when I go to Rally House, Settlers Ridge.
there you go. Because you're surrounded by everything you love. Like,
Yeah. You should be motivated. You should be inspired. You should be pumped up. You shouldn't be like, oh, I have to go do this today. And that's just what it feels like watching Justin Fields right now, which is perhaps the biggest red flag that there could be.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Anyways, next game, Denver and Miami. Man, I didn't want to see the Broncos go to 0-3.
Miami.
Yeah. I don't
There's
think
not many teams I'd pick instead of Miami.
plain
As-
sweet.
As soon as week 1 came,
You said Miami too, Dante?
Plain
as soon
sweet.
as week 1 came and went, I realized Miami is such a powerhouse.
Yeah.
I have to give respect where it's due. They are so electric. That offense is going to keep clicking on all the cylinders. The defense is just as good as anybody's. They're not the best team in the league. I certainly got the 49ers, Chiefs, Cowboys, whoever.
Yeah.
But they're up there. They are so up there. They may be my pick to come out of the AFC this year. I forget if I've already mentioned that.
Pick to win the division at least.
I won't sound like a broken clock, but give me Miami 100 times out of 100 this game.
A broken clock.
Well, if I've said that every episode,
Broken record.
oh, bro, thank you. Broken record.
You don't sound like a broken clock. Don't make noise.
I don't want to sound like a broken record. I feel like I'm repeating myself from past episodes, but I'm high on Miami, obviously. Doesn't mean I like them. Doesn't mean I wanted them to beat the Patriots last week. Doesn't mean I wouldn't be happy if they somehow went 5-12. But they're a powerhouse.
Gotta give credit where credit's due sometimes.
Yeah, next game.
So just to be clear, we are all going Miami there. Like, just to emphasize it
Yeah,
one more
we
time.
are.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Sorry, Broncos fans, but you should have known that was coming. Anyway, Titans and Browns. Another one that's kind of close, and I'm not sure where to go with it. So I'll let you both start if you have your pick. Dante or Luke?
I have my pick, Luke.
Go
if you're
ahead, Dante.
sure. It pains me to do this, but give me the Browns. I'm gonna take the Browns here. Their defense looked very good week 1 against the Bengals and almost just as good against the Steelers, Given what I said about the Steelers earlier on, I won't have to repeat myself there regarding their offense. But yeah, give me the Browns here. I think they're gonna move to 2-1 this week.
I agree. Give me the Browns. I think this week was a good showing of had the Steelers defense not been a top defense in the league, the Browns win.
Yeah.
No offense, but you guys won. You don't have to worry about that.
No, we won because of our defense. Like if
Yeah.
if Nick Chubb played that entire game, we don't win. I'm just saying.
So there may be some growing pains without him, but Tennessee is a team with a low ceiling, and Cleveland needs wins like this if they want to have an above average year, and I think they pick one up here. Don't be afraid to pick Tennessee.
Really
now.
have me thinking. You know what?
If you pick Tennessee, I really hope you're right.
I was gonna say last week.
Yeah, Dante will be cheering for you.
Last week, I had a lot of picks I was thinking about making, but changed my mind. And I told myself this week, go with your gut and don't change your mind. And my gut told me to pick the Tennessee Titans. So I'm gonna pick the Titans to win this game.
Good man. Good.
I think they're coming off a great week, and I think they're gonna have a lot of momentum coming into this game. And with the Browns, I don't know if they're gonna have any growing pains with their new backfield. Watson didn't look that good last week. I don't know. The Browns defense does scare me in this prediction, but I'm going to say Titans by a very close amount. That's what I'll say. All right, this game's interesting. Bills and Commanders. 2-0 Commanders against the Buffalo Bills. Now, as much as I want to pick those 2-0 Commanders, I'm going to be the logical sports fan here and pick Buffalo. I don't want to, but I mean, those trap games happen every now and then, but I'm going to take Buffalo on the road. I just think I will. Yeah.
Luke?
I'm going to throw it back at you. Dante, what do you think?
Left and up. Who are we? The Commanders.
You're going with the Commanders.
Give me Washington here. I think Washington, their offense looks unstoppable the past 2 weeks. And the Bills, they've been known to blow games like these. I'm just saying. And yeah, give me Washington here. I think Sam Howell's going to have a big game. If you could put up 35 against the Broncos defense, why can't you put up 35 against the Bills? I don't see a big difference between those two defenses. I'm just saying. So give me Washington. Chalk it up.
Well, I'm glad somebody picked Washington because I'm not going to.
It's the same thing as the Falcons Lions.
Yeah. I'm glad somebody picked Washington so I don't have to.
That's fair.
That's good, and I hope you're right. Buffalo is really the boring pick, and maybe I am wrong, but
I kind of view this as like my Chiefs Jaguars pick last week.
yeah.
Like, I don't want to do it, but it's probably the pick that's going to be right. Then I could see a lot of fun people jumping on the Commanders bandwagon this week. I myself, as a fan, is jumping as far on the Commanders bandwagon this week as I can, but I don't know. I think the Bills will win this game. We'll see, though. We'll see.
I think you look at the past 5 years, and we're not even talking about 3 or 4-0, but out of all the teams to start 2-0, half of them aren't any good, anyways. That's probably not the case for the Commanders. They've looked legit, but it may just be another thing where they won't end up being a playoff team or anything. And yeah, I don't think they're going to win this game, unfortunately.
Sorry, I'm just texting
You guys
somebody.
don't have the vision. You guys don't have the vision.
What'd you say?
You don't have the vision.
I thought you said they were going to win that division.
No,
I mean,
no. I think it's the Cowboys still, but
yeah.
Hey, we'll see. We'll see. Second to last 1 p.m. game. Colts and Ravens. It has been confirmed that Anthony Richardson is in concussion protocol. There's a chance that Minshew Mania is out there against The Ravens running back Lamar. I'll stop. I'll
Real.
stop.
Real.
You had to do it once, so I had to do it
Keep
once.
going.
That being said, Richardson or not, give me the Ravens. I'm super high on this offense right now. Whether we like the Ravens or not, like we've said, I got to give credit where credit's due. This offense is looking good. I think there's nothing stopping them from being 3-0.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's nothing wrong with kicking this can down the road and waiting for the Ravens not to be great so we can say, well, we knew they weren't going to be great, but they've looked great.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe that it's super sustainable because they've never shown us any evidence that it is. But they've looked as good as anybody, so luckily this is an easy game to pick anyways. I'm not gonna have to go out on a limb for them. So give me Baltimore this week.
Yeah, I agree. Give me the Ravens here. Just looked very good on offense, specifically Zay Flowers. It's about time they've hit on drafting a wide receiver, and I think he is going to be their one for the future.
He's about as good as you could have asked him to be.
As of now, yes.
You're right, about time. I know OBJ is questionable. He hasn't had that big of an impact on that offense, so I don't really think it's a big deal whether or not he plays.
Not to make a joke, is he questionable because he's hurt or questionable because he's hanging out with Kim Kardashian? Because I did hear that as well.
Well, either way, he's in
Maybe
trouble.
one's related to the other. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's questionable.
Makes you wonder if the Kardashian curse applies to the NFL too. I don't know.
I couldn't name another NFL player that's been with Kardashian.
Yeah. All right, we can move on.
It's mainly an NBA thing. That's why.
I don't think Adam realizes.
But anyway, Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't even realize either.
I wasn't even making that connection. Thanks.
That's crazy. Anyway, Luke, your game.
Yeah, Luke, your game. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Pats and Jets.
I'm not going to raise my voice and proclaim to the heavens that we're going to 50-piece them, but I am going to pick the Patriots. I'm just going to cautiously say we better win this game. If we don't, that means we're probably going to start 0-4 because we have the Cowboys next week, and I'm not confident about that. It's fine. We've started 1-3 before and been fine. It's the September tradition since Tom Brady left to say we're better than this team's record shows. So we better prove that. A statement win would be really nice. There's no reason why we should lose to the Jets here. There's just not. It better not happen. I don't even care that we're on the road. I need a Patriots win here really bad.
I'm picking the Patriots as well. I'll say that.
As am I.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I will say this, Luke. I don't know if they will sweep them like they have in years past this year. Maybe the Jets will. Maybe the Jets will take one. But
thanks for the 2 free wins.
This week,
right?
This week is. I don't think this is the week the Jets take one. I think this is the week the Patriots get their first win of the year.
I can safely say that I think we're going to sweep them because Aaron Rodgers is out. That's
true.
No longer a touchy subject. He's already been on Pat McAfee joking about being unvaccinated. So he's in high spirits. I don't think we need to worry about him. But the Jets still don't impress me.
Totally off topic. I was watching Pat McAfee yesterday. We went to Permanis for lunch, and I saw whoever the general is on the show, the general's top 5 college football teams. They had Ohio State number 1.
Wow.
I respect that.
It's Penn State?
I think Ohio State, then
Georgia, Michigan.
I think, yeah, they had Michigan 3. I think it was Ohio State, Georgia, Michigan, and then I forget what order, but they had Texas and Florida State as the last 2.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah.
Two good teams so far, but definitely some flaws.
Where's Colorado?
Not there.
Where's Colorado? I'm kidding.
Anyway, I'm not going to get too much into this Panthers game. Panthers in Seattle. Like I said, we have our projected maybe injuries. This starts a stretch of games that I don't think we're going to win. Oh, give me Seattle. But I will say this. We won in Seattle last year. But I don't think it's happening
Who
this
is
year.
that with?
I'm not getting. It was
Who-
with Sam Darnold, but I'm not getting the same vibe that I got last year. I'm just not. I'm picking Seattle. I just don't get the same vibe.
Because you're back of Andy Dalton.
Yeah, I don't think Dalton can win a game in Seattle.
Well,
Are
do
you
you-
going
what
to
do you
pick the
think, Dante?
Panthers?
I think I think the Panthers are going to eventually turn around this year.
I hope.
But I don't think it's going to be this week. I'm going to take the Seahawks. The Seahawks just have less question marks surrounding their team regarding injury and just play. Once again, I do think the Panthers could be good this year. I had them making the playoffs, and I still think they could potentially do that in that division. But give me Seattle.
Yeah, I'll pick Seattle as well. It's unfortunate, you guys. It's. I knew there were going to be some growing pains, but this is going to end up being a rough start to the season.
It'll be all right. We'll get it going. May not be right away. We'll get it going. But on to the rest of the 4:00 slate. Bears and Chiefs in Kansas City. Boys, this is a lock if I've ever seen one.
Yeah. Chiefs.
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 I think that's pretty easy.
If we were all together, we could do the 1, 2, 3 Chiefs. But
Well, yeah. This is that's a pretty easy pick.
This one I would say it's a definite lock, but
Yes, Adam. It's a definite lock.
It is Cowboys and Cardinals, but the Cardinals have I don't know.
It would be fun. It would be fun if the Cardinals made Dallas jump through some hoops to win this game, but they're still going to win this game.
You think the Cowboys going to win, Dante?
Yes.
I was going to say, you don't need to put much thought into it, but yeah, I mean, the Cardinals have, this is the third straight NFC East team they've played, by the way. They've had two close games against Commanders and Giants. Cowboys, I think, are a whole tier above those two teams. So it may not be all sunshine and rainbows in Arizona this week, even though the last 2 weeks were losses. So. Anyway, Sunday night, Dante. You ready? Go ahead.
Yeah, Steelers going to visit the Raiders at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. I think it's going to be another ugly game. Another ugly game.
Really?
Two offenses that really have struggled, to put it lightly. But I think if we're coming down to the defense, the Steelers have a top 5 in the league right now. And the Raiders, outside of Max Crosby and a questionable Chandler Jones going into this game, their secondary really isn't that great. They have a former Steeler, Robert Spillane, at starting middle linebacker, which I'm excited to see how he plays. But I think the Steelers play good enough. Their defense is going to make some big plays again. They're going to get to the quarterback, playing a worse offensive line than they did last week against the Browns. I think TJ is going to have a good game. Both of our outside linebackers, for that matter. But yeah, I think I'm going to take the Steelers in a close, ugly game.
Yeah, you kind of got me thinking the same way, which I did see Chandler Jones was placed on, I guess, what's called the non-football illness list.
Oh, wow.
Which I guess that means he's not playing. I don't know. But I kind of think the same way you are. Two kind of mid-ish offenses. So it really comes down to defense. What'd you say?
That's being generous towards the Steelers.
Yeah, I mean, they still got some high quality players there.
Oh yeah.
So defense, it really comes down to, and I'd take the Steelers defense over the Raiders defense any day of the week. So give me the Steelers. I think it'll be close, but give me the Steelers. Luke? He doesn't know.
I guess I'll go Pittsburgh just because of the defense thing. I think you're probably right. This seems like the kind of game that Mike Tomlin's going to win. I don't really have a good reason other than the defense thing.
It's just the Raiders just don't blow your mind. Like they're special. I mean, I do think Jacobs could have a game, but even Devontae Adams, I heard he is dealing. He's banged up a little bit, but
Yeah.
both teams are really not that good. I'm just gonna be honest.
Both
right
teams
now.
are just kind of
Meh.
painfully average,
Yeah.
except for the Steelers' defense is far above average. So I'll give them that. I'll pick the Steelers this week. I haven't picked the Steelers yet. So I'll pick the Steelers for once.
This is my third straight week picking the Steelers, and so far I'm at 500. So
Could be worse.
Well, Dante picked the Steelers every week this season. We'll see.
We all know the answer already.
probably not.
If Dante picks the Steelers the same week every week this year, Dante's Steelers record prediction or Steelers record would be the same record as the Steelers.
Yeah. Yeah.
For better or worse, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, we got 2 Monday night games again this week.
Ooh, these are two interesting.
Starting with, they're both interesting. Starting with the Buccaneers hosting the Eagles, a playoff rematch from 2 years ago when we had that year where the Eagles we thought were not going to be too great. They snuck in, gave the Buccaneers a little bit of a fight, I think, in that first half, but then Tampa Bay pulled away, or maybe not. I can't remember. That was like Jalen Hurts' first real experience with
Tom
it.
Brady beat them, but yeah.
Who are we going with?
Hey, they don't have Tom Brady anymore.
It's the battle of 2-0 here.
Jalen Hurts has grown,
So someone's getting their first loss of the season.
I'll take the Eagles. I'll take the Eagles. I feel very comfortable doing that. Tampa Bay is fun, and this is going to be the test whether or not they're for real or not. But even if they are for real, so is Philly for sure. So I don't feel weird about picking Philly at all.
I feel the same way. I'm going to go with the Eagles as well.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do the same thing. I mean the Eagles.
All right. So that covers it for that game. And the second game, speaking of the playoffs from that year, it is a rematch of Super Bowl 56. Not 55, 56.
Mm-hmm.
Rams and Bengals in Cincinnati. This is also interesting. Bengals haven't won yet this year.
A tough one.
There's apparently a chance. I don't know. Is Burrow playing? I heard he re-aggravated his injury.
Still questionable.
He's still questionable. You know what? Screw it. I'm going Rams on the road. I don't know what to think with the whole Bengals situation. I still think Cincinnati's going to be fine. I'm going Rams on the road. There, I said it.
All right.
My upset of the week. Puka Nakua, supporter, fan. That's me. Go Rams. For Dean.
Dante, what do you think?
I said it.
I really think this is a no-brainer here. I'm going with the Rams.
Sorry, what'd you say?
He froze up.
We
Actually.
lost you for a second.
My bad. I said I think it's a no-brainer here. I'm going with the Rams. Because you got to think the Rams, even though they did lose last week, put up 23 points on what I think is the best defense in the league on the 49ers. And then the week before spanked the Seahawks, who's not a team to scoff at by any means, 30-13. And the Bengals, with Joe Burrow being questionable, I mean, it is in Cincinnati, but I think the Rams are going to come out and get the job done in prime time. I'm very excited for this game.
All right, Luke.
I will comfortably be the only team picking the Bengals. That is fine by me.
Okay.
You could be very right. Logic right now tells us Rams. Logic from recent history tells us Bengals. But I gotta go Bengals. I gotta believe that they're gonna turn it around eventually.
It's just so tough because they haven't showed us really anything to make us think that way. Except for last week. They were pretty good against the Ravens. They lost by 3. But then again, I don't know. You expect the Bengals to be this powerhouse, and they just haven't.
Yeah. Listen, it's a reliable story. The Bills lose week 1. They go out and win by 25 or whatever they won by. I think the Bengals and them are just so similar. The Bengals eventually have to win a game, right?
Well, The only difference is with the Bills, they lost to the Jets, then they beat the Raiders, whose defense isn't, like I mentioned,
Yeah.
great. I think it's different. I think the Bengals are catching a tough break here. They're catching a Rams team, though they did lose last week, like I mentioned. They're looking like a close second best team in the NFC West and the contender in that conference in general. I don't know. And this one's going to be close. I shouldn't have said no brainer because it's really not.
It's all right. I mean, if you're right, you're very right. So that's okay. I'll stick with the Bengals. I'll ride or die with them. We'll see what happens.
That's fair. That's fair.
All right, just a reminder to the listeners and the fans. So far this season, our picks standings. Luke is in front, very close, 18 and 14. Dante 17 and 15. You're right behind. 13 and 19 for me. I'm looking for a big week. It's okay. Rough start to the year, but there's plenty of time to turn this thing around.
I picked some games that differed from you guys. I picked some teams that you guys both went with one. I went with the other. So we'll see what happens. This could be a big thing, but
I'm hoping that could be my theme this week. Like, let's see. I don't know. I have the Titans by myself. That might be the only one, but I'm
you
hoping
picked the Titans, huh?
Yeah, I did.
Good call.
Hoping I can be right there. Not sure if I'm gonna be, but I'm hoping I can be.
Oh, I thought you meant last week.
No, this week. This week.
Okay. Okay, that's fair.
Last week, the only solo pick I got right, I think, was Chiefs. Which yeah. But anyway, Luke, do you have your start and sit 'em prepared for today?
I do because I already read them.
Oh. I thought you were going over last week's.
And I did this week's.
Hey.
Dante, do you have
apologies, y'all?
Do you have an on the fly good, bad, and ugly?
Go for it, man. Come on.
I'll do sure. I'll do one for each.
All right.
Go for it.
I think good. I'm gonna go with Lamar against the Colts. I think Lamar against the Colts is gonna be good.
Pretty fair.
Bad, I'm gonna go Jimmy Garoppolo against the Steelers defense.
That's definitely possible.
Definitely possible.
And ugly, just like a guy that's really not performing like we're used to. I'm gonna go with Justin Herbert against the Vikings because he really hasn't.
That's an interesting pick.
Could do that. Could also say Justin Fields. I hate to throw him out there, but I think Herbert is a good pick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just a guy that's really not living up to the hype. Not playing bad, but not that guy right now.
Yeah, tough year from him so far. Tough year.
A lot of guys not playing up to their contracts. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Speaking of that, I guess Mahomes just got a restructured contract.
Yeah. Now, did he get more money or less?
I think he did. I think he got more. I think now he's up to. He was like the 8th highest paid quarterback or something. I think now he's the 3rd or 2nd. Like right behind Herbert or right behind Burrow and Herbert, something like that.
Man.
So
everyone's getting paid.
Yeah. Soon enough, I got to worry about Bryce Young getting paid. And
let's hope. If I'm a fan, I hope my quarterback gets paid that much money because that shows that he is that guy.
It's a vote of confidence. The Patriots haven't signed the Patriots haven't given a second contract to a first round pick since like 2019.
Who was that?
I don't even know.
Dude on a pick?
No, we signed him from the Ravens.
He was a Raven? How would I know?
He was a Raven.
Oh my god.
He was a Raven, and like I remember all their fans were so happy to get Judon off their books, and little do you know.
Turned into a beast for the Pats.
He is turned into a monster. He's my favorite. Mac gives me a hard time, but I think I'll stick with Matt Judon as my favorite post Brady Patriot.
Mine's Juju.
Yeah.
His knee is still intact.
His knee still hasn't exploded, so that's good.
Dude, Oppenheimer knee. That's what he got. Jeez.
Yeah. All right, boys. Shall we wrap up for our week 3 episode?
Let's do it.
Thank you all for listening. For those watching, thank you for watching.
Of course, of course. We'll be back sometime next week. We got to think of another day because remember I said Wednesday. We're part of a club on campus that has a bonfire, and I think we got to be there early to set that all up. So,
What club is that, Adam? What do you?
Crew,
Oh, okay.
the Christian organization.
We have crew up at Slippery Rock.
Really nice.
Yeah, my buddy Devin is in the crew. So
Sweet.
yeah.
Yeah, Luke and I are leaders this year for Crew. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
Well, let's hope that the Patriots actually get a win over the Jets, or else I will not be in a good mood next week.
Yeah, I mean, if the Steelers lose, I'll be like, eh. But like, I really needed that win against the Browns. I've been smiling these past 2 days, but
Let's
anyway.
hope Bryce Young plays and looks better, and I'll be happy with that.
I think he should. I think he will.
All right. From Adam
Dante.
and Luke, we will see y'all next week.
Signing off.
Thank you.
Dude, I almost did it again.